What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Got my top pocket knives of the week out here to go over what was in my pocket this past week. Let's get into it. So on Monday, I went with a micarta Monday, and I had the Civivi Sakoki in the pocket. You guys have seen this on the channel a little bit here recently. I have the video queued up. It'll be coming out here soon for the review and the disassembly and a little bit of modification here on the lock bar and the handles. But the Sakoki has a very thin and slicey 14C 28N blade. Let's see if I can get that in focus there. 14C 28N blade steel, nice tall flat grind, super thin, came with a great factory edge. Sorry, there's some gunk on there from where I was I don't know, breaking a box down, cutting something open. Great ergonomics. This is so comfortable in hand. I know it's really a straightforward, simple design. It has a little bit of the thickness there that you kind of see what Spyderco does here. Like if you look at the Manix 2 or any of the paramilitary knives, kind of what you're seeing there. Very, very comfortable. Pocket clip doesn't seem to bother me as much, and that could be just because of where it's landing on here. It is reversible deep carry. Does have a spot for the lanyard, and it does have the matching back spacer on there as well. Great contouring on this one, super comfortable. As you can see, it does go up and down, and it just has such a comfortable grip. I can't even emphasize that enough. I did recently, when I did the disassembly of this, which is not published yet, I did a little detent tune on there, and it really improved the snappiness for that front flipper. Never really had a complaint with the thumb studs. Those were fine. But it did, as I mentioned, it improved the action there, and it has really broken in. Of course, cleaning it up and lubing it with my own lube has really helped with the smoothness that you see here. Really nice action. Good lightweight carry too, and they come in a couple of variants right now, but I can imagine that the Sakoki is going to end up coming in other combinations of materials. It's just such a good knife, and I can't imagine that is not selling well for Civivi. So that was my Monday carry for micarta Monday. On Tuesday, I went with a Titanium Tuesday theme, and I had the recently acquired Kungwu Pulsar in the pocket. This one here is still being reviewed. Really enjoying it. So I at first had the factory springs that were on there, and I carried it for a little while with those, and I wanted to see what the stiff springs were like. So I installed the stiff springs next, and then I got the 6mm, I think 3/64 ball. Not 100% sure on that. You'll have to tune in for the review and the disassembly skiffs. So I went ahead and installed those, still locked up solid, and reinstalled the original spring so I could kind of get a really good sense going back and forth. But it has really nice action, good thumb hole, reverse flick, and then you can use the crossbar lock. The milling pattern on here is wonderful. Really like the way that that looks, and it feels nice in hand. Pocket clip works well. Grips and ergos again on this, same as the Sakoki, very comfortable. I actually have enough room for my finger just to clear that blade so that I'm not touching the edge. I wish the jimping would have come out a little bit more, but you got a nice crown spine back here and a great blade shape. Action again, really smooth, especially after installing those skiffs. This thing is very, very buttery. Even if you don't want the titanium version, I think there's some G10 variants out there. Those two are really, really nice and highly recommendable knife. Sign up for the notifications for when those come back in. Wednesday, I went with the Wharncliffe Wednesday, and I had the traditional pocket knife exclusive jigged titanium Penguin Plus in the pocket. This one, instead of 20 CV, you're getting it at an M390, and instead of a wire pocket clip, they upgraded that to a milled titanium pocket clip, and I think that really ups the look overall with the jigged titanium and having that milled pocket clip. I recently got the 5mm 364 ball count on this one in from Skiff, and that'll be in the video as well. And I apologize, I think I said 3/64 for the Pulsar. The Pulsar is actually 6mm 1/16. The 3/64 is the skinnier ball count that goes on this one with the traditional 5mm pivot, but it is really smooth with the factory bearings, and with those 15 ceramic balls in the pivot, this is, and it's still breaking in. I literally just installed it, but you can see how smooth that is getting. You have a flipper tab for deployment, thumb studs that work really well, and you can, if you flick upwards with those, you can get a nice reverse flick going. And let me show you that lock bar access, really nice there. Regardless of how you like to actuate the knife closed, you can go all of the ways that I know how as far as closing it, and it's really, really smooth. Again, these jigged patterns here offer plenty of grip while still being smooth on the very top, so pocket clip goes in and out very, very nicely. And again, I just think it looks better with the titanium. It looks a little bit more premium, but you still have the steel hardware on this one, so that has not changed in that regard. On Thursday, just because I haven't carried it in a while, no real theme, I had the Sharp by Design Mini Tempest in the pocket. This one here has the blue dark matter fat carbon fiber inlays in it. Really beautiful knife. Hand belt satin finish. No, actually, this is the hand satin finish, side to side rubbed on the M390 blade. And there you can see Brian Nadeau's initials on this Sharp by Design knife. And I did just a little accent of color with the hardware here. I anodized that to match the dark matter scales. In the scales. And it's just such a beautiful knife. It has good access to the lock bar, being a little bit of a more gentlemanly knife. It's more slender, but it still has that length there so that my large hands fit on it comfortably, and the jimping goes way out here. So good control there. This is a great gentlemanly everyday carry knife. Going to get into your packages, break down an occasional box really nicely. It has a great factory edge. I did strap it when I initially got this because it was secondhand, and I haven't had to do anything with it since I've stropped it, and I do use this every time I carry it. I seem like I'm cutting something open, and it's a joy to use. The fuller works, as you can see, for the reverse flipper, and the jimping is nice and sharp so that you can flip that with the thumb. You can do the little side index finger opening trick, and it has good access. It's not the best, but it works well and really, really smooth on those skiff bearings. Just such a great knife. Lightweight EDC too. You can see not quite as girthy as some of the knives that I carried earlier in the week, but it's still a very wonderful knife to carry and use. I enjoy that one very much. So much so that after I got rid of the original to get the TW Price Dawn, I actually decided to go back to the Mini Tempest because the Dawn's lock bar access was too tight for me, and I liked those two to each other because they kind of, to me, occupy the same spot in my rotation. Let's move on to Friday. Friday, I decided to go with a frame lock Friday carry, and I brought the EMP EDC Relative back out. I can't believe more people aren't talking about this model. This model blows the Nimble out of the water. I think it looks much better than the Nimble. I feel like the action on it and the build quality from Bestech on it is just so much better than the Nimble was, especially the Nimble X, which is what I had before I got this. And then I fell in love with this one so much, I just decided to let someone that really wanted the X go ahead and get that from me. And here we are with the Relative. Awesome. Still has that EMP EDC style pocket clip here. Goes in and out of the pocket okay. It does kind of catch a little bit, I have found, going into the pocket on that milling, but it's not awful. And I love the all silver finish on here. You got the polished pivot collar on both sides. You got a really beautiful looking deep hollow ground blade that goes into a full flat out on the tip. So you got a nice clip point compound on there. Thumb holes for the thumb flick, which work fantastic. Reverse flick, bam, coming out of there, no issues. And the fuller, if you like to lay down against the blade and let that rip, really nice because it contours even my large fingers nicely. You got the front flipper here, which is really sharp, good for the thumb. Because of the girth on this, you kind of need to have the big hands to be able to do the index finger flick. I swear I can say it. I did install skiffs right away on this, and boy, oh boy, are they smooth. It is not a guillotine, but it is smooth. You cannot feel anything as far as feedback on the scales from the pivot on this knife. It is great. It has performed really, really well. It's nice and comfortable. I have plenty of space with that dedicated forward finger choil, and if you need to choke back, I actually can still get all 4 fingers on this one. Great knife. This one is an absolute home run from EMP EDC. That is what was in my pocket this week and a little bit about why. Let me know what you've been carrying down in the comments below. I'd love to hear that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks to everyone out there that is leaving the likes and comments. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a fantastic day. Till next time, peace.